I literally don't know what the fuck happened to my leg. It's like she created a skin tag. Nobody needs to hear about this.
Can you see? Hold on, let me try to show you this. It looks
Y'all's
like a
cats
rash,
are mauling you.
but it was from Como kneading my arm while he was cuddling me.
Aww.
So it's actually
That's how
really
this
nice.
happened to me.
But
was
it did hurt.
So did this. It was actually really, really cute because
I dropped off all the things I love. Like I need a traffic jam to keep in touch. I can't focus on the words unless my hands are busy. I can't give up on the world or I will leave this city. And it's way too broad what I'm trying to say, but I write it down and let it go. And it's hard to know all the words I need to explain my heart in a single note.
hello, and welcome to Way Too Broad, a show and tell program for really, really ridiculous, excitable grown-ups. Well, folks, we did it again. We accidentally went a month without releasing an episode.
Busy times, okay?
But I'm Hannah, and these are my co-hosts, Erin and Ben. Hi, Erin.
Hello, welcome to your 12 episodes a year podcast, Way Too Broad. Hi, Ben.
Hello. Listen, I took my final today for my class that I was taking, so I will be less busy for a few weeks until my summer class starts.
Hell yeah.
Congrats.
Well, maybe we can just play it by ear then. Like, we don't have to go back to weekly, but we can just, like, check in once a week.
Yeah.
See, okay, cool.
Sounds
Love
good.
that. Another couple important context situations for the listeners to know. We're recording this on Thursday night. So we're in the final few hours before Breath of the Wild comes out. But obviously none of us have played it yet. It is pre-downloaded on our Switch right now. Yeah.
What? And we just don't have access to it?
Yeah, you're not allowed to open it.
I haven't bought it yet.
What?
I mean, I'll buy it later today and it'll be the same.
Mom said didn't have enough room on her Switch, and so she bought a memory card, and then she said
that she refuses to call an SD card for some reason, or a micro SD card.
she said she accidentally threw it away because it was so small.
They are so small.
They are so small. She is so real for that, but yeah, so she has to find another one.
That's so real. I gotta check my Switch just to make sure it had enough. I do have a memory card, and I need to make sure that now that I know that really bothers Ben for some reason to call it a memory card, I'm gonna only call it a memory card.
She didn't call it a memory card. In Marco Polo, she called it, I think, an expansion pack or an expansion card like 3 times. And it was so fun. There was such a funny series of Marco Polos because I was on the West Coast for most of this week, so I was catching up on Marco Polos like later in the day after everyone had kind of had all the Marco Polo conversations, and I like could see this thing happening where my mom had a Marco Polo about expansion cards that she was waiting for, and I saw Marco Polo come over from Kylie, and I was like, Kylie probably doesn't know my mom. Probably Kylie knows my mom really well, but probably doesn't know her quite well enough to know that she definitely means micro SD cards.
Yeah.
And is going to suggest to her to get a micro SD card instead.
She did
and that
do that.
exactly happens.
Yeah. I was confused about why she was suggesting that, but also like Ian and I were the ones who advised her on how to get the micro SD card, so we knew what she was talking about. So we should do What Are We Drinking before we... Oh, was there a second update? I guess not. It's been a month.
Were you going to mention our race, Ben and I's race?
Oh, yeah. That's right. Why don't you explain the terms, Erin?
Yeah, well, basically, Ben was wondering if he should take an edible before podcast or after podcast, and then I proposed that he and I both take one right before podcast and see whose kicks in first, or like maybe who's like incapacitated first.
Erin, you said you took a quarter of yours.
I took like a bit off half, so like a little less than half.
What's the dosage on a whole one of those?
I don't know. It's the one that Ben brought in Thanksgiving.
Oh, those are 5.
Those are 5.
Yeah,
yeah,
I
but
took
they
10
hit hard, and
they can.
yeah,
they can.
I don't, and I like very, very rarely have them.
Yeah, I
so.
have higher tolerance.
And
Yeah, I
what did
have,
you
like,
take,
no
Ben?
tolerance.
Guy
to
takes
speak of.
edibles more often. What did I take?
Yeah, I mean, like how
10
much?
milligrams. 10 milligrams.
Oh, 10. That's what you said. Okay.
Yeah.
So
you said
Ben
that.
was a little
Yeah.
bit late, but he took significantly more. But his tolerance is different. So it's a race. I'm the judge.
It's a race.
Because I didn't want to get high
It's
today.
a science experiment of sorts.
Yeah, I thought maybe for a change I wouldn't get high on the podcast. And you guys
I have two quick things to say before, just to tie up the conversation about the expansion pack.
Okay.
Number one, when Ben said he was on the West Coast, my brain was like, "What?" I thought he was in Canada, which is funny to me because
I was last week.
yeah, because the Canada extends east to west too, so you can be
True.
both on the West Coast and in Canada. And then also was just gonna say I do have an expansion pack, but I need to check that everything downloaded all right. Just wanted to say expansion pack again there. Carry on.
Yeah. All right, let's see. What am I drinking? I'll tell you. I have a Polar Starfruit Lemonade Seltzer, which I love.
Nice.
Delicious.
Hannah, did you get a ring light?
I do have, my camera has a ring light on it, but I don't usually
Okay, is that
use
new?
it.
Yeah, I was like, why does Hannah look so great today?
Well, because I forgot to turn the big light on in here, and it's going to get dark while we're recording, so I was like, I might as well let you guys see my face the whole time.
Yeah.
And then also I have a little snack, which I thought I would give like maybe a little seasonal reminder for people to look up what Japanese knotweed looks like. I know I've talked about it before on the podcast. I don't know if it was an obsession, but we're continuing the war with Japanese knotweed in my yard. And it's an invasive species in like all of the US and the UK and everywhere that's basically not Japan. Oh, what?
That's why it's called Japanese knotweed.
That's right. It was brought over as an ornamental because it has pretty flowers for a tiny bit of the year.
That was such a funny, like, realization.
Was that real?
Was that real? Oh, okay. Okay, never mind.
Okay. So it was brought over as an ornamental plant, and it turns out it has no natural predators here, but it has a really aggressive natural predator in
Except
Japan.
for Hannah fucking Brown.
Yeah, except for foragers, because it is edible. So it tastes like a combination of like rhubarb and asparagus, more towards the rhubarb, like very tart. It's supposed to have antioxidant properties, which I don't really put much stock in. It also definitely has oxalic acid, which is something that is, if you're prone to like kidney stones or gout, you should be careful about how much of it you eat. It's the same thing that's in my other favorite plant that I got the tattoo of,
Wood
but
sorrel.
I simply can't remember the name of right now. Wood sorrel.
Wood sorrel.
Thank you. But there, a lot of the preparations I see of knotweed are not my favorite. So I just wanted to mention what I do because it's really simple. If you have a patch around you that you know where they come up, the shoots come up fresh every spring. Like it doesn't start growing from the old shoots. It can get really big in a season because it grows really fast, but then it dies and the new shoots come up. So the young shoots, if you can pull them, or they're really easy to break, you can peel them really easily to get the tough skin off the outside, and then you can just eat them as a little snack, and they're like tart.
Oh,
and
so you eat them raw.
crunchy. Yeah.
She did it.
And
oh my
they're
God, she
not,
did it.
if you don't you don't really have to wash them because you're taking off all the stuff that touch the ground, and you probably shouldn't, because that's how they get slimy, is when you get them wet. So they're not even slimy, which is one of the things people don't always like about eating knotweed. So I recommend it just
Is it
as an
considered
occasional
a weed?
snack. Huh?
Is it considered a weed?
It's considered an invasive plant. I don't know if it's considered a weed.
Is it considered a weed?
Why?
Is it considered a knot?
Stop dodging the question. Is it considered a weed or not?
Nah.
Because if it is, I think that's not truth in advertising. Because it's called not weed.
I see. I don't know. Can weeds be that big? I know you're just trying to make a pun.
Weeds can be as big as they want.
So that's my
Weeds in a hole.
That's my seasonal reminder to
Then they'll spread.
keep an eye out for a knotweed. What did you just say to me?
I said don't put weeds in a hole because then they'll spread.
Yeah, that is
Is your sound okay? You keep not hearing us.
yeah.
So true, King.
It's fine. My listening's not great, but my sound is perfect.
Okay. Just checking in.
No, but I was going to also say, and any place you look up how to harvest this will mention it, but do be careful about throwing away parts of knotweed, because one of the other things that makes it so invasive is that it can start growing back from like so many different parts of the plant. Like it can just like you throw away a piece you think would never sprout another knotweed, and you may just be mistaken. So it's good to like
so badass that some plants can do that.
Yeah. It's fucked up.
Let me ask you a question. I probably asked this when you brought knotweed as your obsession, but does it give you asparagus pee?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it's
Great question.
actually related to asparagus. It's just kind of like
you do get asparagus pee. I mean, you do smell asparagus pee, right? Yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah, for sure. So
Great.
quick. So quickly.
Oh my God, immediately.
Yeah, it's crazy. Aaron, what are you drinking?
Do scientists know why? Hold on, I'm not off asparagus pee. Do scientists know what it is in asparagus that causes asparagus pee, and why there's a whole thing where some people can't smell it? Or is it just a mystery?
I think it's a chemical, and I think everybody has it. No, not everyone can smell it. I didn't answer your question. I just restated what you said about it.
Yeah, that's as much as I know.
I'm sure we know.
Yeah.
I'm sure we know.
I don't know, if there are some random things that we just like don't know.
We recently learned how
That
eels
seems like
reproduce.
we should.
Finally.
We recently learned how what?
Yeah, exactly. How eels reproduce.
Yeah.
I didn't know we
specific
found that
forms of
out.
eels. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I forget exactly. Isn't it like they like all go to one very specific place?
Yeah, and then it's like
but what do they do there?
like a salmon type of thing, I
I
think.
think they
okay.
they kind of fuck.
I didn't enjoy the way you said fuck just then.
They're like fuck.
Aaron, what are you drinking?
I have an exciting drink.
Oh.
I have a local offering from this. So there's this chef who used to have a restaurant downtown that was really tasty called Scratch. She'd make like pies and like lunch offerings and like brunch, like grip bowls kind of thing. Anyway, she closed it, and now she does this thing called Snack Service, where she delivers food every week, or you can pick it up. We get delivery, like little snacks, same kind of things. You can get pie or like dinner type things, but she has one offering which is a honeysuckle lemonade, and it's so tasty. It's very, very tart, really nice, not too sweet.
Is honeysuckle
really tasty.
a flower?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fuck.
Does honeysuckle fuck?
I mean, it's invasive and
Does honeysuckle honeyfuckle?
Sure do.
We have some in our backyard. I wonder how you make that.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, my hair's doing something fun right now.
Yeah, it is.
Look.
Look at that.
No. Google,
Oh,
don't
it's just for
censor
us.
me. I just tried to write
Today-
that down, and it didn't let me do honeyfuckle. Okay, we got it.
Wow. Rude.
Today I Googled, do squirrels pollinate? And Google for the first time on my work computer. My job is to Google things. For the first time on my work computer. Google was like, we need to know your location. And I was like, are they calling the cops on me for Googling this?
My job.
Anyway, yes.
Do squirrels pollinate?
Yeah, it's believed that squirrels can act as a pollinator to some things, because I was watching
For trees?
the squirrels. Squirrels absolutely tromp through like my the tulip poplars, which are in full bloom. And I was like, they got to be up there pollinating shit, right?
I never would have thought of that, but that totally makes sense. They it's so fun watching them like run between trees. They're
Yeah,
very
I don't think
impressive.
they're like. Yeah, I don't think they're like a main pollinator, but I think it's been observed that for some species they are a main pollinator.
No, they have
They're
squirrels
kind
in
of
Maine.
You know, in Toronto, most of the squirrels are black.
Oh, I saw a black
yeah.
squirrel the other day in Toronto.
Weird. It's just it's kind of weird how we're not that far from Toronto. We're pretty far, and the squirrels look completely the same, other than the fact that their fur is a lot darker. I feel like it's just weird that they
crazy.
evolved like that. And they have some brown squirrels too, like some regular squirrels like ours. They also have red squirrels.
Wait, brown squirrels? I think we have gray squirrels.
They're
here.
I think
Okay.
I said the wrong color.
Sometimes they got little brown noses, little tan noses.
True.
That's true.
Love
They're
that.
so cute. I love squirrels.
How was your Toronto trip? Are you willing to talk about that on pod?
Ben, first tell us what you're
Sure.
drinking. Please.
Oh yeah,
have
sorry, Ben.
My big old cup of water, of course.
Cool.
Sorry
I
for
also
your
have
drink
a mug
erasure.
of tea because I am getting a cold.
Iron Man 2.
Oh no. You're getting a cold too?
No, she said Iron Man 2.
Oh.
I love this mug. I think Hannah got it for me for Christmas.
Does it say
maybe?
genius on the bottom
It
of
just says genius. It doesn't say Iron Man. It says it on both sides. It's just a picture of Iron Man, and all it
so
says is
good.
genius, which I think is fucking hilarious.
I feel like there's no chance I didn't get that for you, but there's also no chance I noticed that it said genius. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, I
That's
think
so good.
yeah, it's almost certainly from you. It's yeah. I have a sore throat, so I'm drinking tea all day.
No. Bummer.
Not COVID though. Had that like a
good.
month ago,
Oh god.
Yeah.
but it was way better than last time. So
Okay, good.
You boosted?
I'm boosted as fuck, man.
Hell yeah. Nice job.
Yeah, actually, and last time I got it, it was like a month before I was eligible for the like next round of boosters at that time. So, which is why I think I was like really smacked by it.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, it was fucked up.
Boosted.
All right. Oh my God. I have so many upfronts for us. Oh, Ben, your trip. You were going to tell us about your trip. Did you just do that?
Which one?
The one to Toronto.
I went to Toronto. I guess it was 2 weeks ago now. Actually, not last week. Or yeah, almost 2 weeks ago. In my head, it's Saturday, but it's not. It's Thursday. I just didn't work today.
No. Rip.
And I got a tattoo. I got my first tattoo.
Wow. How was it? I want to see. Get a picture.
Here we go.
He's about to
boy.
take his whole shirt off. Oh, I thought you were getting it on your shoulder.
Wow.
No, I called an audible and decided to get on
Okay.
my ankle. And
So
it was actually
cute.
when Rachel and Dom were here. Shout outs to Rachel and Dom, great
out.
house guests.
Speaking of COVID.
Yeah, speaking of
He just left. I didn't think it was that offensive.
He had to go check.
when I had to go check. When I mentioned getting on my shoulder, Rachel was like, kind of like, "Are you sure you want to do that? Because it's not a particularly big tattoo, and I didn't really want it to be very big. And shoulders are kind of prime real estate for tattoos, and good for like either big pieces like Hannah's or Kylie's, or like kind of a bunch of small ones that like go together." And I was like, at the time, I was like, no, I think I still want it on my shoulder, but ankle might work better. And I'm so happy I decided to do it on the ankle because it's like I always have a little Pokemon with me walking now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
It's
so cute.
And the tattoo is of Chikorita, which was my first starter because I love Pokemon.
So cute.
And yes, my little baby, my
Little guy.
my little guy just walking around down here.
God, that's so
And
cute. Just like in the movies.
Yeah. When the artist sent the design, she added, like, all I gave her was that, like, I wanted a cute tattoo of Chikorita in color. And she added that it's like playing with a Pokeball. It's so freaking cute. I love it.
That's wonderful. Congratulations.
That's dope.
Thank
Congrats.
you so much.
And why were you in the West Coast? You have to justify all of your
Yeah. Please
all your
explain.
travel to me at
I
this
was
time.
traveling for work.
Oh, that sounds boring.
I was visiting NASA.
Sounds extra boring. JK, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. I co-advised a group of students who were doing a senior project sponsored by the Jet Propulsion Lab in Pasadena.
Sweet.
And
Oh,
we got to all
Gone
visit.
back around to boring. I'm just kidding. I'm just joshing you.
That was a good
Oh,
one.
right there, background. Oh, there it is.
Hey, Ben, why don't we come up with a signal so that you'll know that you got boring again and that way you can stay on track?
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
So that was fun, but also very tiring. I took like a 3-hour nap today because I had to. As I mentioned earlier, I also had a final exam today. So I got home at like 1 in the morning last night.
Oh my God.
Went to bed a little later than that because I was a little jet lagged still, and then woke up at 9 for my 10 a.m. exam,
Wow.
which was really easy. So
Was it online? So you didn't have
Yeah.
to leave the house? Okay, that's good. That's
yeah,
good.
but it was like it wasn't like a take home exam. It was like an online proctor exam, which I hadn't done before. There's this software called Proctorio that like disables your clipboard, records your screen and your video and audio, and like, prevents you from having like multiple tabs open and other programs open and stuff. Well, it doesn't prevent you, but it like records your screen during all of that, and you can't start the test until you like close all other windows and other tabs. So you like just have the tab open for the exam.
Wow.
And I had like a limited amount of time to do it, but it was easy AF.
Wow. Aced it.
Nice.
Aced it.
Nice job. Okay. So, Ben, you recommended a game to me, which I'm thinking at this point is...
Nope. Not talking about that yet.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
You sure you know what I'm going to say?
I think I might. I'm thinking of it as my obsession.
Okay. We'll wait and see. I will save it. Because I also need to talk about what has... The last time that we recorded, the news had just broken that Taylor Swift and Maddie Healy had broken up. And so that's where we, like...
No. Joe Alwyn. Oh my fucking God, Anna.
Joe Alwyn had broken up. And so I need to update Ben
Hannah's
on, like...
a tatty. I never knew it. I never knew you were a tatty.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, so we need to update Ben a little bit.
It's the ship name between Taylor Swift and Maddie Healy.
I mean, like, obviously, like, things happen. Breakups happen all the time. You don't have to lose it. Like, that's true. But
you don't have to lose it.
That's a Taylor Swift lyric. But there have been some key things that have happened surrounding Taylor Swift that I think Ben deserves updates on and may actually be interested in updates on, and our listeners as well. And I know you have something you want to talk about.
Can I say? I'd be surprised.
Ben, just use the code, the boring code, and then the signal.
The first one is actually only adjacent to Taylor Swift, which is Phoebe Beebe started opening for her in Nashville. So she did last weekend. She's doing this weekend, I think, in Philly, and then she's going to be in Foxborough, Massachusetts, which is our state, the week after.
True.
So
speak for yourself.
Right, except for Erin. So she during the course of her opening act, so there were 3 nights in Nashville. She actually only played 2 because the third one had like a massive rain delay. There was like a thunderstorm and it started like 4 hours late. But the first 2, she actually brought out the boys to play a song in the middle of the set. And
just one song?
Just one song, and then they like accompanied her for the rest of the set.
Oh, okay.
So they played Not Strong Enough on the first night, like a slowed down, like more acoustic-y version. I adore that song. I didn't like it as much in the acoustic version personally, but like I still love it.
I haven't listened to a ton of live renditions of Not Strong Enough. The only one I heard that I liked is the Genius Lyrics video.
So good.
Oh my God. I want them to release an a cappella version of the fucking song after watching that.
It's so good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
like when you can hear all their harmonies super clearly, it's like
wonderful.
Holy shit.
Every live version of it I've heard besides that one I've loved, and I'm so excited that obviously they've only performed it a few times, but they did it on, I think I've seen every one that they've done live, because they played it two separate weekends at Coachella, and then they played a whole set, obviously, and then they played one of those late night shows. They did a version on there too.
Yeah.
Kimmel.
And they were all great. The second night, in my opinion, they were all great.
Yeah.
Wait, which one didn't you like?
I thought the one on the live show, it was a Jimmy Kimmel, it was somebody.
Maybe.
Or maybe Jimmy Fallon, whatever.
There's a Jimmy Kimmel one. I don't know if there's Jimmy Fallon one.
Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel. I don't know. I just didn't think the mix was right. And like that last verse to me is like, it needs to hit, and it like was softer or something.
Yeah.
Like
The mix was not right.
I think
Julian
Lucy was not loud enough.
Yeah.
On
You
the
could not
last
hear
chorus,
her, and I could
she's like,
just hear like...
she's fucking destroying that last chorus, and it did not come through well enough. But I did appreciate, like Hannah pointed out a while ago, that you can hear how much Julian is harmonizing throughout the song.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, her and Phoebe actually in general, I think you can hear really well. I think Lucy is mixed too low throughout.
Totally. I think And like just in general, since a month ago when I talked about Boy Genius is my obsession, it has not abated at all. I got a ticket. We're trying to get more because Ben and Kylie and Erin are all interested in going too, but I'm the only one that got a ticket. But I got a ticket to see them in September. Well, it's actually the first day of October that they're playing. That I'm very, very excited about. Even if I have to go by myself, I'm gonna go. I've also like been like listening a lot more to Lucy Dacus and Phoebe Beebe's solo stuff. I have found that I adore Julian Baker. I think, first of all, she's incredibly talented, and a close second, she's very hot. But also, like, I don't love
close second.
I don't love her solo stuff nearly as much as I like Boy Genius, and specifically love the songs she leads on Boy Genius and what she contributes to Boy Genius. Like, I think she's such an important part of that group. But like I just don't vibe as much with her solo stuff as the other two.
I really love all of her songs on the album.
Yeah, I feel like her solo stuff's very like slow and mellow, and all her songs on Boy Genius are like rock
yeah.
and yelling, right?
And her harmonies.
So it's
are
like
wonderful.
she gets those out in different different places.
But anyway, the second night they played Cool About It, and it was so fucking good. And like I was like, they have the huge screens at the stadium. Like, I think it's the biggest crowd any of them have ever played for, and you could just tell how excited and happy they were to be there. And it was like really fun to see Lucy and Julian up on the big huge screen that I've only ever seen Taylor Swift on. And also, it appears that on nights that Phoebe Beebe is opening for Taylor Swift, that she's going to be playing. They're going to be playing Nothing New together during like Taylor's Red section of her show, which is also really exciting. And
they have like glittery guitars. It's really cool.
It's really cool. It is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Phoebe Beebe had a different, so she's still doing like the band, and the boys were in like skeleton like outfits, but Phoebe wears like black and white, like it's still a skeleton costume, but it's like elevated, and she had a different one for every night, and they were really cool. So I would seek those out if you haven't seen them. So let's talk about the other. Let's not talk about Matty Healy. I didn't mean to mention his name.
I was about to say I do not want to talk about Matty Healy.
I have a quick Phoebe Beebe thing though.
Okay. Yeah.
She was on Comedy Bang Bang a while ago, and they were talking about her tour for Punisher. I think that was the first one where she wore the skeleton outfit, right?
I don't know.
I think it was. And she told Scott Aukerman for that tour she only had one skeleton outfit that she was wearing every night.
Oh my god!
Did she like just wear it for Halloween one time and then just decided to? I think it's on the cover of the album too.
Yeah, I think so. That was. Also, I had another. Remember when she smashed the guitar on SNL and like a bunch of shitty people online got mad about it?
Yeah.
She also talked about that on Comedy Bang Bang and was like, before doing that, she was like, that was planned, and I reached out to the guitar company that I was going to be smashing and made sure they wouldn't be mad about it. And they were like, no, that's cool, and will be like good publicity for us. So like, it's fine. And I was like, that's fucking hilarious. People are so stupid online.
Yeah, they really are.
They're all so awesome. I just adore them. Like I can't.
The people, just randoms online, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, the trolls, the online trolls, they're so awesome.
Yeah, they're all so awesome.
Yeah. The boys, I love them.
I heard they're all so awesome. And I was like, that's true. There are times when I really do love the internet, and the internet can come together for the greater good.
That is true.
It's true.
That's true.
At times.
So true.
Yeah.
All right.
You hit us up. No, I want you to describe this to Ben.
Okay. All right. So like a week ago, at that same round of concerts, Taylor announced that her next re-record was coming out July 7th. And in the announcement for this album, she put in the caption, it's coming out July 7th, just in time for July 9th. If you know, you know. That was because July 9th is a lyric in one of the songs that's on that album. But
Last Kiss.
But then the next day, various...
I'll pick this up. The next day, it was circulating around... I saw it first on Reddit, in my subreddits, that there is a book being published by Flatiron Publisher that is released on July 9th, and they have not released the author, and they haven't released the title or the cover. Go ahead.
So they're allowing the reason that that this got out is because they're offering bookstores basically the chance to order this book sight unseen with just the information that it's going to be really popular among millennials and Gen Z, and they were already planning to print 1 million and a second run already. So that, and also the fact that it's coming out on July 9th is very sus, because July 9th this year is a Sunday, and books are almost always released on Tuesdays because of the way that the charts
also
work.
that's less than 2 months away, and
exactly.
by this time people are normally advertising the shit out of their books.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
it's absolutely someone super famous.
Yes.
And so with those facts in mind, those are facts, and it's also
The facts have been presented. We are entering into the opinion and conjecture section.
If it pleases your honor. So the book length is 544 pages, and like Taylor is really into symbolism, and so and like has a history of doing a lot of Easter eggs
with numbers,
and her favorite number is 13, and she used to actually like wear it. I actually just saw the movie Valentine's Day, which she's in, and she has it on her hand. She has the number 13 on her hand the whole movie, and she used to put it on her hand during concerts. So 5 + 4 + 4 is 13, and the audiobook. What'd you say? If it pleases the court, the audiobook. My edible is kicking in. The audiobook is 13 hours long. And so with all of these facts in mind, basically it's been making headlines because this book is like charting, I think.
Yeah, it's Taylor Swift coded.
There are Swifties who think that it's Taylor Swift and are pre-ordering it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I did pre-order it as well. I did that before they were writing news articles about how.
That's like the day that it started circulating on Reddit. Erin was like, I pre-ordered it.
Why not, right?
Yeah. We're all here to have fun.
Worst case, you get a book.
Yeah, exactly. And so it was funny. So then,
the other thing is they're supposed to announce like the actual title and author of the book on June 13th. So there's another 13.
Yeah, that's right. There's another 13. That's right. June 13th. So it's since been reported, I think in Variety. Taylor's team didn't respond, but it's been reported with like certainty. Like they have, extreme confirmation that it's not Taylor Swift. And just like one other funny note is that
it's not Taylor Swift.
Yeah. That's not Taylor Swift. And the current theory is that it's BTS. And I think that makes a lot of sense based on almost everything else. Yeah.
July 9th is also important to the BTS fandom, we've learned.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think it's like
Big
the
day.
library code. Yeah. The Dewey Decimal System or something is like, it's like sorted under like group biography versus like memoir.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Anyway. Yeah, so it seems there's some compelling leads that are not like crazy symbolism. But so, I'm on this Taylor Swift subreddit, and like all we do in there is clown around.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing, there's no like serious conversation. There's all like just combing through just details and being like, could this be a thing? And somebody posted the Variety article, and then someone commented, I'm going to take this opportunity to say I'm so disappointed in this community for grasping at such straws, or like maybe now we'll take a second before we leap to wild conclusions. And I'm like, all we do in here is clown. I'm like, it's like, oh, I'm so disappointed that this clown car is absolutely full of clowns. Like, why are you here?
Like, oh, you mean this theory that's never had any like this entire like I don't mean to discredit Gaylor. There's obviously a lot of like evidence for it, but it's all symbolism and like I am a Gaylor, but like it's all clowning. Like at the end of the day, it's
like, can you imagine being disappointed in a community for like pre-ordering a book?
Oh God.
Anyway, that was the other big update.
All right.
That would be such a like that. I mean, even aside from all like the symbolism stuff, the fact that she added the like just in time for July 9th. I know it's a reference to a song lyric, but that would be such an incredible coincidence if it is just a BTS book.
Yeah.
That's going at that time.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, it was it all was connecting. Like, honestly, I've seen confirmed Easter eggs she's done that made less sense than this.
Yeah.
Like, one last little heartbreaking note for the Boy Genius fans in the listening to this. The third live song, according to sound checks people recorded earlier in the day, was supposed to be me and my dog. So that's sad that didn't happen.
That got canceled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
That is sad. That's a great song.
yeah,
It's a very good song.
very good song.
Very good song.
All right, do we have other upfronts?
Do we have any emails or voicemails?
Oh yes, we have an email.
Great.
It's
Fantastic.
a new YouTube comment.
Oh no! I thought Federico was gonna call in.
It was, and she even said, "Oh, I forgot the other day. Can I still call?" And I said, "Yeah," and I gave her the number, but I guess they just didn't get around to it.
Lies.
We got one comment from someone named Sterling Ingram, and it says laughing emoji promosm in quotes, as if that's something we said.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we might have said that.
Yeah, Federico, if you listen to this, we want to talk about color seasons, like people's color seasons. I know that's what you want to call us about, but send us a voicemail. Tell us your thoughts on it. I have thoughts.
Because we won't fucking talk about it otherwise.
That's right.
That's right.
That's a threat.
It's a threat.
All right, let's pop in.
Yeah.
Oh, we also did lose the number again briefly, and I figured something out, which is incoming calls and texts don't count. It's only outgoing. So when we call, that doesn't count as using the number, or when other people call.
Oh.
We have to.
Wait, so how has it not been expiring this whole time?
It does periodically, and I've never understood why it didn't.
So you just need to call. We can't help.
Yeah.
No one can help save the podcast but you.
So what happened was
or any of us.
took I basically, I guess you can only have one phone number, or like you can only link one phone number with one Google phone number at a time. And for personal reasons, I had to link my phone number to a whole different number. So I tried to make an outgoing call and I couldn't even, because it didn't have my number linked to it anymore. Oh. So when I reclaimed the number, I linked Ian's phone number to it. So now I have to make calls from his phone once every like however many months. So
so it's not. So it's calls from your phone. That's why
it needs to have you can do it from the computer.
I see.
But it needs to have like a phone number linked to it in order to do it.
Okay.
So anyway, if anybody needed to know.
Shout out to Ian's phone number. We don't talk about it anymore on the pod, but it's
good.
Just
that's
it's
right.
one of my favorites of all time.
Oh yeah. Lay it down.
No, but it is an
Just
impressive.
cut this out. Cut it out. What is it? We can
Just
talk about
say it, coward.
It's an impressive.
It's a
phone
lot
number.
of sevens. I know that.
It's only got 3 numbers in it, so
Which is fucking insane.
all right. Let's pop in. I'm first. What's my obsession?
Lay it down.
Ask me.
7. It says 3 numbers, including the area code. Is that right?
Yeah.
Correct.
That's crazy. Okay, sorry. Continue.
One of them is clearly 7. So guys, give it your best shot. It doesn't pick up on no numbers anyway. So, my obsession, which I'm not going to go into great detail on. I don't want anybody to worry about that. But my obsession is therapy.
Oh, great.
Great, love it.
Yeah. So
Just had it 2 hours ago.
wow,
Love it.
nice.
Huge
Beautiful.
fan.
So we're all 3 of us, I think, then are currently in therapy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's just so I've only just started. So these are things I want to say. I adore my therapist already. I think she's awesome. We are only seeing each other bi-weekly. So I've been seeing her for like a month, but we've only had 2 appointments. Something I've learned, and
That tracks with bi-weekly.
yeah. Something
The math adds up.
something you know what, bi-weekly can also mean twice a week, in which case
I know.
Gotcha.
It's insane.
Fucking gotcha.
Same with
Ben.
biannual.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Yeah, or bi-monthly.
crazy.
Yeah.
So
Oh my god, so bi-weekly and bi-monthly can mean the same thing.
I think so.
Oh, wow.
Yes, it sure
Holy
can.
shit.
Ben, incredible.
Crack that white.
That's
open.
fucked
I'm gonna
up.
make a. While you're talking, Hannah, I am gonna listen, but I'm also gonna make a Venn diagram. Too. It's a post in our family Slack.
Okay. What I've learned about myself already is that I'm not shy about sharing, like talking to people that I don't know that well when I feel I can trust them. And I think maybe I have this podcast to thank for that in a way, because I remember it took me months to put out the first episode because I was so nervous about just like putting us out into the world. But then we did it every week for however many years now, and it's been fine. I mean, not like a lot of people are listening, but like sharing, at times very personal things about my life has been like well received and has not like been a problem for me. So I think that maybe I'm just like used to it, but I also it's taken us a long time just to even get through the introductory stuff because I talk a lot, as we all know. So that's something, but she doesn't mind. Like I find myself apologizing for it a lot, and she has to keep being like, that's what this is for.
Literally why you're there. Yeah.
Kylie does the same thing, and she said her therapist is like, no, it's like that gives me a lot of things to like learn about you if you talk a lot.
Yeah.
Like it's really good for me for you to do that.
I don't apologize. I'm just like, that's what I'm paying you for.
I think I've been to therapy once before, and it was only kind of therapy. It was counseling when I was in college, and it was like specifically I was doing the counseling because I was like having a lot of trouble academically, and so she was like, we can talk about anything, but the goal ultimately was to try to help me be doing better at school, but also
help me get be doing better at school.
Help me do better. It didn't work. The counseling did not work.
Hannah did not take an edible, by the way.
Hannah did not be doing better.
I mean, I graduated, but
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Massive dough.
But it was like, what I remember about it is it was nice because I could just go in and talk to her about whatever was on my mind. She didn't try to like direct me to only talking about school, but also I would talk for a while about something, and then she would be like, wow, you're really self-aware. And I'd be like, yeah, thanks. And that was like kind of as far as we ever got. Like she didn't really, there was already with this therapist, I have like learned that she's a big book recommender, and she recommended me this book called Burnout about completing the stress cycle, which like is so interesting to me because I think there is a way in which you can be very self-aware to a point where you are like intellectualizing your feelings instead of feeling them. And like when you're doing that and you're not letting yourself like feel through stuff, then you're also not completing your stress cycle. Like according to this book, this is the part I don't necessarily believe, but like I'm open to it, is that like if you have a stressor, it causes stress. You can deal with the stressor and still be holding the stress in your body because you haven't like done a lot of the things that would actually indicate to your body that the stress has passed, like you would have in like a hunter-gatherer society where our bodies evolved, like a good amount of exercise, or like like there's this like tension cycling thing that you can do, or like deep breathing, or like physically connecting with another person, like intentionally in ways that indicate to your body that you're safe. Like your body doesn't really speak English. It like you have to speak your body's language in order to like get the stress
Vibes
out.
only.
Yeah, crying is very helpful for that, right? Like vibes only for your body.
I said vibes only, yeah.
Exactly. So this book is like all about that, but it's like, and I'm already finding it really helpful, and I'm sure we'll talk about it next time. But like like the only reason she recommended that book to me was because I told her I've been like crying at a lot of random stuff, like Taylor Swift videos on TikTok and stuff like that. And she was like, crying's actually really good for you, but you should check out this book. Like, and it like talks so much like specifically about that. So like, it's just that kind of like, I feel like we're already going deeper than and like causing me to think more, even in the intervening 2 weeks, about like my actual emotional health than I ever did with this other person. So I'm thinking it's going to be really great for me in the long run. And I know that it can be hard to find the right fit for a therapist. And I think I got both really lucky, and like I did do some like hunting around and watching, like they have on Psychology Today, they have videos now, like little 15-second introduction videos, which was how I ended up contacting this person. Like, because I actually reached out to one therapist like a year or two ago, and they never responded. And that was like, the Psychology Today directory is supposed to be one of the more reliable ways to find therapists, but this person just never responded, and I never pursued it, and I never reached out to anybody else. And then like recently I was like, I should really try harder. And so, but when I went back, they have these like little 15-second introduction videos, and you can just like scroll through them. And I found it more helpful than the summaries and the bios and the specialties, because like eventually that all kind of runs together. Like it's really hard to really understand just from like reading some like blurb that someone wrote randomly. I mean, it's like you're like, why I could never be a recruiter. Like all cover letters, all like resumes have similar language, but that doesn't mean you're going to actually get along with the person.
Yeah.
So I would recommend
Hannah, were you able to filter by things like queer friendly, fat positive, like that sort of thing?
Yeah, for sure.
That's
There's
nice.
like, yeah, you can do as much or as little of that as you want to. And I picked her actually because I could see from her video that she was a fat person, and I really wanted a fat therapist for my own fat self. And I wasn't sure, but I didn't like walk in necessarily knowing how she specifically felt about like her body, or like the concept of like fatness in America and how it's treated and stuff. And then it turned out like almost immediately I discovered that we were like exactly on the same wavelength. Like she's also a huge Aubrey Gordon fan. She listens to Maintenance Phase. She's all about like body neutrality and fat liberation and all that. Like she's actually starting a fat liberation book club pretty soon. It. So probably will be joining that. But yeah, so that's also really great, because like I felt like it was important to have somebody who like understood what it was like living in a fat body, and probably also growing up in one, because that's like a big part of like my life story. And like, so
yeah.
So yeah, it's been really good. And I'm just like, I would just highly recommend it if you're feeling like you just, there are like I'm not like, Ian's great to bounce things off of. I talk to you guys about a lot of stuff. I'm not afraid to talk about my problems with people, but like not every person that you love and who cares about you is qualified, or is just going to be able to like have the information that you need to actually like break through on some things, or like learn some new stuff about yourself. Like some of them will help, but some, it's not, nobody is intending not to, but that's not their job. So
I saw something in, I like to read a lot of advice columns, and the advice columnist recently was like, spouses aren't good therapists. And I was like, that's so good. That was really like liberating for me to hear too. I feel like there's also a refinement process, right? Like, it's like I have unrefined things that I don't want to like refine through Molly. I want to like get them, processed, and then come back and be like, oh yeah, here's this thing, like where I'm more like in a stable place, or like more, it's almost like I feel like, especially for an external processor like myself, it's so valuable to just have an hour to like think out loud too,
Yeah, I spend most of my therapy sessions as the one talking. I think most people do, but yeah, that's very much like, I think one of the big reasons I went back to therapy is that I'm like, I've learned about myself that I'm not particularly good at like internally processing and articulating things I'm feeling. Like I just don't tend to spend a lot of time thinking about that as much as I should. I just sort of like vaguely feel things, and I'm like, it's hard for me to figure out exactly why or exactly even what I'm feeling sometimes. And it's just like really helpful to talk through that. Like I just end up spending like half the session asking myself questions, and then kind of like trying to figure out how to answer them.
Yeah, it's kind of like I
expected
her to be the one noticing patterns when I was talking to her about stuff, but just the act of talking about them or thinking about talking about them like does cause you to notice patterns that you probably wouldn't have.
Yep.
If you didn't have that session to look forward to or be in, you know?
And then my favorite thing is when, like, midway through, sometimes he'll interrupt me and ask questions, sometimes he'll just let me finish and then, like, asks me about something I said, like, 3 minutes ago that I thought no, it was significant. And I was like, and I'm like, oh, I should really think about that thing I just kind of said offhand more, like, and I don't, it's hard to get that anywhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've kind of come to peace with, made peace with the fact, like, so far, like, I pretty much cry through every therapy session, and I'm like, someday I won't, but I just come to terms with the fact that I probably will, just because I'm such a feeler that if I'm talking about anything that I feel strongly about for any extended period of time, I just do start crying, and I feel like maybe if I'm not, based on the way I am, if I'm not crying through my therapy session, I'm probably not talking about the right thing.
Yeah, it was funny because the last session, I won't go into detail, and I thought this would be a short one, but there's a lot to say. But like, the last session, so there's like a whole like introductory like thing that you do, and like the last question on it is like, can you just give me like a summary of like anything in your past that you consider to be a trauma? And like, it took me like 3/4 of so we didn't get to it the first session. So the second session we like started with that, and I was supposed to just give like short summaries of things that I consider traumatic throughout like my whole life. And I was surprised at the things that made me cry versus the things that didn't. Like I almost like want to explore why. Like are the things that made me cry things I have been able to process less. Like talking about Jack, for example, still consistently makes me cry, and anybody else's pet loss consistently makes me cry. Whereas talking about my miscarriage doesn't. So like what's up with that? But anyway, that's as specific as I'm gonna get. But we've talked about both of those things on the podcast before. So
totally. Yeah. That's kind of how I feel about that. I don't know if it's true, but for me, it feels like that refinement that I'm talking about, right? It's like I have my unrefined emotions and they have to express themselves through crying or through feeling, right? Like body feels. And then when I refine them, I can understand them in my brain. And so now I don't have to emote them through my body. And so that's kind of how I feel like I can have calmer conversations because I'm like, I'm not.
Are you holding a knife?
Yeah.
Like a fucking like a sharp like a switchblade. She's not like a butter knife for the listeners.
I'm just. That's gonna be such a delightful moment for the listener because they'll have no context. You just like come off of that like deep, bro. Yeah. Slightly high like monologue, and then you're like, "Are you holding a knife?"
Well, I only saw it at the last second. Like you held your hand up, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Wow, there it is.
There it is.
All right. So yeah, everybody go get therapy. It's good.
Yeah, literally everyone should do it. It's good.
Yeah, it's great.
And like Hannah said, sometimes it's hard to find the right one. I actually went to a therapist on psychology today a few months ago when I was starting therapy again, and she was awful. And I canceled all further appointments, and then I instead went through like Kylie's therapist's office because they have obviously other therapists, and that was a great choice because they're all good over there.
Nice.
Awesome.
Let us know if you need a good brand of therapy.
A good what?
Therapist. Brand. It wasn't as funny as I thought.
Okay, it's all right.
When he said they're all good over there, it made me think
okay. You're both... Erin's definitely high. I think Erin might have won, which is remarkable.
Yeah,
maybe Ben just shows it us.
It's possible.
No, I think you won.
Are you feeling high yet, Ben?
Not because I'm not saying because you were seeming especially high. I'm saying I'm not really feeling it that much yet.
Remarkable. With the dosage difference, Ben,
Tolerance.
a true stoner.
I'm a big guy.
Did you eat dinner yet, Ben?
No.
Okay, I didn't either. I did have a little cheese.
Oh, that sounds nice.
I haven't eaten anything for a while today.
We're having chicken pot pie for dinner over here.
Oh, I love chicken pot pie.
I think I'm gonna get Thai food.
Hold on. I was just watching several times, like right before podcast, that video. You both know the buttery crispy flake video, right?
No.
Okay, we're watching this. Oh, you know it. You know it. I'm going to show it to you right now.
Multiple
Oh my
times.
God. An absolute fucking classic.
So good.
Yahoo.
So anyway, I was just watching that, and that's an ad for chicken pot pie. I love chicken pot pie.
Yeah.
Homemade?
No.
Handmade, at least.
I grocery store made. It's a store brand.
Love it.
I don't know.
Love it.
Handmade.
What the store brand?
I think it's probably gonna
Is
be
it good? Have you had it before?
No, I haven't had it before. I'll let you know.
Wow.
Chicken pot
Big risk.
Yeah.
Big
But
rip.
maybe big reward, you know? You never know.
So true, King.
Erin, what's your obsession?
Oh man. Okay, have I brought this before? I hope not. My obsession that I'm talking about here, because my obsession is, I don't think I have one outside of like anticipating Tears of the Kingdom and working too much, is the Merlin Bird ID app. Have we talked about that on
fuck
pod?
yeah. I was hoping you would bring this. I don't think we
great.
have, because
can't believe
I
we
almost thought about bringing this also.
Great.
Because I learned about it from you guys.
Yes.
So I think we did talk about it in pod, but not as an obsession.
Yeah, I don't
And
see
I've been
it.
using it, and it's so fun. I was just
so fun.
Okay, just earlier in the podcast recording, I could hear a cardinal absolutely going off out the window, and I was like, "Oh, I recognize that as a cardinal now because
Yeah.
of the fucking Merlin app."
Love it.
God. Tell us
Yeah,
about
so
it,
like,
Erin.
if you don't know what the Merlin Bird ID app, I have such confidence in this obsession now. It's a little free app that you can get. It's from the Cornell folks. Those folks over there at Cornell. I feel like that's what. I feel like we maybe had this as an upfront last time,
Yeah.
but the Cornell Lab put this out, and you can. It's a general bird ID app. You can actually ID the birds by like their color and shape. Like if you see a bird and you don't know what it is, you can ID it, and it's pretty good at that too. But the most exciting, and apparently there's a photo ID. But the most exciting feature, in my opinion, is their sound ID, where it listens to the bird. It makes a little graph,
A spectrogram.
a spectrogram of their little specters, and then and then it'll tell you if you hear a bird, you can just start recording, and it'll tell you who it is.
Yeah,
And
exactly who it is.
It's
It'll tell you
pretty
their name.
sensitive and pretty good. Yeah, their hobbies, what they're looking for. So
Yeah, it's so fun.
it's so
it's
fun.
so fun.
I
And
did
then you
it
have little
outside my work
recordings
the
of all
other
your
day.
birds.
Yeah.
You do what?
Find it. I did it outside my work the other day. Look at how many fucking birds there were.
Oh my
Oh.
fucking god!
Wow.
Read some highlights here. Northern mockingbird.
Nice.
House sparrow, those are everywhere. Blue jay, definitely heard that. They're annoying as fuck.
Yeah.
American robin, beautiful songs. Northern cardinal, beautiful songs. Here's a cool one. Peregrine falcon.
Whoa.
Whoa.
I'm not sure how much I trust that one, but I looked it up and they do live in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
So it's entirely possible. And apparently there was there was famously a peregrine falcon nest on like a top of a hotel in Boston for a long time.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes it does give me something just so like wildly out of pocket, and then I go and listen to where it says it was, and I hear
Yeah.
absolutely nothing. I'll turn it up all the way.
Oh,
I
sometimes
was having-
I have the opposite thing where like I'm like, no way, and then I go back and listen. It's like, oh fuck yeah, that is really like there's
Different.
definitely a bird sound there.
The other day, Molly was recording, and my throat made a little weird gurgle, and then it picked up a wild turkey on her app, and we went back and listened to it, and it was absolutely my body making that sound. So I take it with a big grain of salt, and I've
Yeah.
seen that it's supposed to be used as an aid to like help you identify birds.
Right.
But
But it's
If you
pretty
get
good.
like a clear recording,
yeah,
with
it's
like not
pretty
much other
good.
sound,
Yeah.
it's really good and it's really
It is
fast.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so fast.
I didn't know about the bird ID feature until recently. I knew it existed because it's on the front page, but I didn't know
I was
how it
gonna
worked.
say it's like the main button on
Yeah.
the front page.
But it's great. We had like a hawk that was not a red-tailed hawk in our backyard the other day, and we were able to figure out what it was for using that, and it was really easy. Like it was just like right on the front page. I love that.
Yeah.
It's all great.
Yeah.
So fun.
I'm at
birds.
the point now where like it's almost I'm obsessive about it. Like if we're out on the porch, which we are a lot, and we hear a bird that we're not sure about. We like have to pull it out.
Always.
But it's been fun because I've learned there's so many more birds that live in our woods that I haven't seen that I didn't know were there. Like we see cardinals all the time. There's actually some who have a little nest right outside our front window, so we see them. They
have a really cool call. It's like very,
very high pitch. I mostly hear their high pitched, like kind of nested that they do around their territory, which is very shrill. But I'm of the opinion you're not allowed to speak negatively about bird songs because the audacity, right? I feel like we're in their space. Okay, so
I'm so with you on that.
But so
I mean, you did call Blue Jays annoying.
Yeah, they are.
Not
except
two
for Blue
seconds
Jays.
ago.
But it does like foster or create an obsession with birds in general, which I'm not complaining about. But like you'll see the pictures because every time it hears a bird, it gives you a picture of the bird, like an example picture.
So you can play hot or not.
Yeah, and then you decide and you swipe left
and then there's
or right.
a little smash or pass button.
So a bird that you hear a lot but you never see, you see it on Merlin a lot. So when you do spot it when you're like on a walk or something, it's very exciting. Like it's and much easier than it would have been otherwise to identify the bird because you've seen it so many times.
Even if I find Blue Jay calls annoying, I love that I can identify it very quickly now.
That's true.
And I love looking at them.
Which means like we have now 2 species of birds. Let me pull it up to make sure I don't butcher the name. My sound recordings. We have a great crested flycatcher, and we have a red-eyed Vero.
Oh, we have
who
those
live in our backyard who I've never seen, but we hear them, and now I can hear when they're around. And so when I hear their specific call, when in a tree that seems close to me, I can like take out my binoculars, and so I just feel like it's like just really exciting.
Oh yeah, I got some knocks too. That was because of Merlin, basically.
I got
knocks.
Binoculars a while ago because I wanted to get into birding, but I felt like the part where you have to like carry a book around and try to figure it out based on like that part seemed still kind of annoying to me. But I'm gonna absolutely use them now with the Merlin app. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah,
I think I'm just gonna carry them in my backpack all the time, and like when the urge strikes me to use the Merlin app, I'll also take out the knocks and go and spot the birds.
Yeah, good idea.
I think that's beautiful. I love that. Hashtag gotta have your knocks. I feel like it turns it in from like a wild goose chase or like what am I gonna see to like Where's Waldo, right? It's like they're there and like you just have to find it, right?
Yeah. We have this one situation that's really infuriating where every night practically at some random point in the night, a bunch of owls will just fucking freak out outside of our house. And we don't know what kind of owls they are because by the time either of us is able to get our phone out and get to a window, they've stopped forever. They only do it once a night and then it's done. It doesn't happen again while we're awake. So
weird.
Yeah. So that's very frustrating. I still don't know what kind of birds those are.
I've had the thought since this Merlin bird app because it's like I feel like that's like the rule is that if you hear a really interesting bird by the time you get your fucking app open and recording, which by the way is fast.
Pretty fast,
it really is. But I'm like, I've been thinking about like, can we get some sort of Raspberry Pi setup where we're constantly, I would love to constantly be recording the birds and feeding it through. Even like if I could put my microphone outside, be running it through the Merlin app and have a little screen with me or maybe a little alert when there's like, a new bird sound that you haven't heard. Still holding my knife. But that would, how fun would that be?
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Thank you.
Yeah, you should make that then. That'd be awesome.
I wonder if they have like a Python library or something for doing the audio fingerprinting that they do.
I think they would be at a zoo,
yeah.
not a library. All right.
Fuck yes. That was awesome, Hannah.
Yeah.
That's a good joke to close that section on.
Yeah, so anyway, download the app. Amazing. Fun. And anywhere in the world. Today I was a coworker actually posted.
Today you were a coworker?
Today I was a coworker today. Today a coworker posted, he lives in I think Estonia, and he posted like there's a small bird sitting outside my window and he sounds like he's making a seagull noise. Could this be a nightingale? And I where he was like Nightingale ? And I like immediately threaded it and was like, do you know about the Merlin Bird ID app? And I told him about it, and he downloaded it, and it was a European blackbird and a seagull in the background. I was like, dude, it was like two different birds.
Oh, that's cool.
And then I was like, I'm half paranoid that I steamrolled a joke that you were trying to make with my enthusiasm for this app, but you're welcome for the app. But he said it wasn't a joke. And I said, good, I don't joke about birds. All right, thank you. Which is not true.
That's such a good joke because it's a joke about birds.
Yeah, and I do joke about birds. It's documented.
Of course. I think
documented.
When I said smash or pass about the birds, I like had a weird deja vu thing where like I feel like I've talked about fucking birds on the podcast before.
We talk a lot about fucking Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Maybe you've done both. I don't know. Talked about doing both. And I would like to know what your obsession is, please. Great one,
My
Erin.
obsession,
So
which
glad we got to talk about
I
that.
feel pretty sure is the thing you were referring to earlier, is 14 Minesweeper variants.
That's right.
What?
Oh, it's called 14 Minesweeper variants, and goddamn,
okay.
it's what it says on the tin.
Yeah.
It's a game on Steam, Windows only. Sorry, Erin. I hope they release it to other platforms because I would love to like play it on Kylie's iPad while watching stuff in the living room.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
Erin, do you like Minesweeper?
Yeah, who doesn't?
Love Minesweeper. This game is 14 variants on Minesweeper.
Like in one game?
In one game. The way it works is that once you like beat enough levels of one variant, then it unlocks another one. And once you unlock all 14, you unlock a variant that mixes variants, and then you unlock a version that kind of mixes variants even more, which is really cool. I first heard about it from Kylie's coworker. Shout out to Perry, who made on his own, just made like I think it's like a 50 slide presentation about why the game is so good. And Kylie showed it to me, and it was an absolute delight to go through every single slide because he called out so many good things. And in particular, one of the things he said that he thinks is the best part of the game, and I agree, is that you know how in Minesweeper sometimes you just like can't figure it out and you guess on a square.
Mm-hmm. You have to.
You have to. Well, you never have to in 14 Minesweeper variants. And in fact, if you play in expert mode, which is the recommended mode, and I would say everyone should, it does not let you guess.
Oh.
And what I mean by that is, if you click a square, either as safe or as a mine, and you don't actually have enough information available on the board to guarantee that it's one or the other, it will automatically rearrange the board such that you were wrong.
Oh.
And so like it forces you to, and like obviously you can like cheese it by just like clicking every square until you find what they do have information on and like undoing or like restarting the level. Like there are ways to like still technically guess, but if you kind of like play in the spirit of the game where you're actually trying to learn all the variants, you can't do that. And also to like unlock larger versions of levels. So by default, every variant is on a 5x5 square, which is really small for Minesweeper, but when you're like learning new versions of Minesweeper, it's actually really nice. To unlock bigger squares, you have to like perfect a number of levels, and that means that you don't get any squares wrong at any point through it. So like if you get one wrong, you can still undo, and you can continue and beat the level, but you won't get a perfect for that level. And I think that is such a great choice because it forces you to learn the variants. Like we all have like instincts that we've developed from Minesweeper. Like you can just kind of like see a number, like you see like a 1 on a corner, and you obviously know immediately that's a mine, right? Mm-hmm. It's really hard to have those instincts when the game is changing every time, right? But not every time, but like, you know, the game is changing as you do different variants, and this forces you to like build up some of those instincts in other variants. Which is really fun to like experience, just like learning all the time.
It's hard.
So good.
It is hard.
It is hard. It is hard.
Can you give an example of what you mean by a variant, though?
Sure. There are a lot of them. I think in general they're split into like 2 columns, and the difference between them is that like on one side the number usually means something different, and then the other side there are like rules about the board itself and how the mines have to be laid out. So as an example of both sides, my I think still my favorite variant, it's one of the earliest ones, is that the board is checkered, and on colored squares, the mines count as 2 instead of 1.
Oh.
And that doesn't include the like remaining mine count. So there's always 10 mines on the 5x5, and like the ones on the colored squares still count as 1 for that, but for the like number clues they count as 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then like on the other side, there's a variant where all of the mines have to form a continuous orthogonal snake in the level.
Right.
So like the
Or there's,
numbers
like,
still
another
mean the same
one
thing
where-
as vanilla.
Yeah, or there's another one where they can't, more than 3 of them can't connect.
Yeah.
Like on the
And there,
kind
yeah,
of
and
flip
one
side.
where like they come in groups of 2 that can't touch,
The
like things
mines
like
do.
that. So yeah. So that's like one half and the other half. And then when you get to the end of each of those, you unlock the 7 on each side of that. Like I said earlier, you unlock versions that mix those types of variants. And then once you beat enough of those, you unlock a version that mixes both of them together. So you'll like have basically, so, and on the number side, like every clue has a little, every number has a subscript to it that tells you which of the variants it applies to. All the variants are like identified by a single letter.
And it
you can
tells
also
you
hover
what
over it
rules
to
you're
remind
dealing
you.
with
Yeah.
at the top
Yeah,
of the
you can
screen.
hover
Okay.
over to remind you what the variant means, what the letter means. And on the other side, like it'll mix. So like when you mix them together, it'll be like all the clues mean different things, and also they can't form in groups of 3, or they can't form in groups of 3, things like that. Which like sounds overwhelming, but sometimes like I've actually found some of those puzzles easier because in some cases things get like more constrained. Like as a very quick example, there's one variant where there has to be at least one mine in every 2x2 like set of squares on the board.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
if you have like that combined with the multiple one I was talking about earlier, where the colored squares count as 2, and you get a clue that's like a 2 on the edge of the board, this may be very in the weeds and boring. It means that it can't be on either of the colored squares next to that 2. Because that would necessitate that there's a set of 2x2 squares that does not have a mine in it. So you can like immediately click those. And it's like, it's funny to like, as you're playing, and like when you're playing the variants where it's a mix of variants, it's a random set each time. But like sometimes they still, obviously you end up with some of the same ones mixing. And it's like funny to develop those like some of the same instincts that are as automatic in vanilla Minesweeper, but for this like weird mix of different rules. It's such a weird feeling, but it's so fun. I can't get enough of it. I love playing.
I would be playing it constantly if I could play it like on my phone, which it seems like
Yeah.
they should
That
be able
sounds
to
like
do.
a great mobile game.
Yeah, it would
I
be.
think it's relatively new. I wouldn't be surprised if they port it. I actually don't know how old it is.
I also want to say, for those who can and do play games on Steam, that I only have downloaded the demo version, and so far I haven't figured out where the demo version stops letting you progress. Like, and it's free. So if, like it's very low stakes to try it out, and you can play a lot before you hit a wall.
Yeah, it was released in November of 2022, so like 6 months ago.
Okay.
Actually, to the day when this podcast is released, it was released 6 months ago.
Wow.
So it's still fairly new. I would not be surprised if they start porting to other things. And also I didn't mention this. There's a built-in way to draw on the board, which is often necessary in a lot of puzzles. To like, everyone builds up a system, I think, of their own to mark things. The one I typically use is like I use a dot to mean that I'm placing a mine there temporarily, and then like figuring out what that would imply by like putting mines elsewhere, and then I like use a different mark for meaning that a mine can't be there. But I think that everyone does something different, and you can like use different colors. It's not the greatest interface, but it's good enough for what it's trying to do.
Yeah. It feels like it should be on mobile, even for the interface. Like it's not, we just got a voicemail from Lucas.
Oh my gosh.
It's not. I don't think it's from. I just from looking at the transcript, I don't know that Federica's with him, but it is for us. So we should listen to it to
Great,
close things out. I think we are allowed to have a long episode when we haven't recorded in a month. I think that's legal.
When it's a bi-yearly
Month.
podcast.
Yearly.
Bi-monthly.
Let me get it open here. Okay. Turn my volume up. All right. Great obsession, Ben. Highly recommended from me as well. Very fun game. I have a dentist appointment tomorrow. Do you think I should wear my tooth jewelry?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, cool. All right, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Y'all ready? Okay, here we go. Speaker.
What up to the podcast? Erin, Ben, Hannah, how y'all doing? I love you all. It's Lucas, your cousin and brother cousin, not in a weird way. Yep. I have been a little light on the obsessions lately. This is the eve of Tears of the Kingdom coming out, so that's gonna be a big one. But I'm sure you all are already talking about that. I just wanted to drop a rec. I've wrecked it before, but it's a podcast I'm basically my third re-listen to now. I'd say it's an all-timer in the world of history podcasts. It is called Hell of Presidents by Matt Christman and Chris Wade. It's on YouTube, the pirated version. They originally sold it to Stitcher, but they've since severed ties with them, and yeah, they just let it get pirated, which is awesome. But you can listen to it for free on YouTube. Search Hell of Presidents. It is a materialist analysis of American history through the lens of the presidency, sort of dissecting the great man perception of presidents that are very much baked into the way we're all taught history. And it's very funny, too. Very, very good. Very insightful. Big recommend. They also just wrapped up the sequel, which is called Hell on Earth. And it's about the 30 Years' War. Also very good. That's available on their Patreon, which I'm sure you can find if you're curious. But Hell of Presidents available for free. Give it a listen if you want a good, interesting narrative history podcast that will probably teach you some things you didn't know, and certainly weave an interesting and cohesive narrative about the founding of this great cursed nation. Love you all. Hope you're doing well. I hope I just saved the podcast from being canceled by Google or whatever was going on. Yeah.
Shout out.
Wow.
Shout out
to Lucas. Incredible
Thanks for the
timing.
voicemail.
Yeah, thank you. I haven't listened to that, and it sounds interesting. I don't remember if you've recommended it, like, at least.
He's recommended it to me before.
I don't know if
It doesn't sound familiar to me. So
I sometimes have a problem with like history podcasts, or just like kind of like I tend to really only listen to comedy podcasts nowadays. So podcast time for me is just kind of like funny time, and so I don't necessarily always want to fill it with like history stuff or other what is the word I'm trying to think of? I keep wanting to say nonfiction. Yeah, educational.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I did really enjoy Blowback. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think so.
The one about the Iraq War that Lucas also recommended. So I'll try to fit it in the rotation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right, check it out.
Yeah, check it out.
I just clicked over to this photo of Hank that I took earlier today. Damn, he's a fucking fluff machine.
So fucking cute.
He's so fluffy.
He looks like he has one of those like royal collars on.
Yeah.
You know, that they do old paintings.
Shout out to Como, who was cuddling me before this podcast and has joined me on my desk. For the entirety of it also.
What an angel.
It's a black cat appreciation moment here.
Hell yeah.
All right. Thank you, Lucas, for your incredibly timed voicemail. We appreciate it, for your effort
Lucas.
to save the
Incredible.
podcast. Thank you, brother cousin.
Serendipitous.
Thank you for saving the podcast. We weren't going to be able to release it this Sunday.
Yeah.
And you saved it.
Ooh.
Skin of our teeth. I'm going to sneeze.
God bless you.
All right. Let's do homework. My homework is maybe find a therapist, or thank a therapist if you have one for being cool and helpful. And complete your stress cycles. I would also recommend that book. It's pretty good. It's written by two identical twin sisters who have
Carry the lead on that.
with stress in different ways throughout their life, and they are both very qualified as well. But
By being twins, obviously.
right. But they've like it's interesting because they have like this extra qualification of like one of them has dealt with a lot more health issues, and they really believe that it's because she hasn't been managing her stress in the same ways as they've like until more recently. So yeah. Erin, what's your homework? Oh, I'm sorry. Also, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Anthropology, and I'm on TikTok at Hannah and her cats. Erin.
Don't interrupt me again or I'll use this knife. My homework is to download the Merlin Bird ID app and start listening to birds in your backyard. I promise you, you will become obsessed with doing that.
Yeah.
These are all your little friends and they're always hanging out around you.
Wow,
and
great
just say
timing.
hi.
Como just saw a bird and went to the... Oh my god, he's so excited about it.
Wow. See?
Cute.
Yeah.
He
Love
loves
that.
the app.
He loves the app, yeah.
He keeps talking about how much he loves the app. He can talk, by the way.
He loves the app.
Buried the lead there.
Is it my turn now?
Yeah.
Play 14 Minesweeper variants if you have a Windows computer. And then also for the makers of 14 Minesweeper variants, please release it on other platforms.
Yeah.
It's great.
Please release a mobile version.
Yeah. It's so
Or Switch.
fucking fun. Or Switch.
You need to tweet at them so they know.
I feel like it'd be
Spread
hard
the
to
word.
play on Switch.
Yeah.
Although, no, wait. Switch is a touchscreen.
Yeah.
But like...
Not a good one.
Yeah, it's not great.
Well,
Maybe
thanks
LED's
to...
better. Anyway, play the game. It's
Play
great.
it. Thanks to Lucas, you can still call us or text us about your obsession at our phone number 774.
Ignore the part earlier where it turns out that doesn't matter.
We're not going to talk about that. 774-326-0420.
Blaze it.
Oh, but don't dial Blaze it.
Don't doubt Blaze it. We should try to get 369. So we have 69 and 420 number.
Be so good.
Yeah. When I called to save the voicemail and that didn't work either, I was like horrified by how... Actually, there is a voicemail on there from me, of me being like, I don't think I've sounded this happy in years. But also, like, because it was like 2017 when I recorded that. And also, it's like wildly unprofessional. Like, it really should. I mean, I know that we're not a podcast
This is
known
a
for our...
professional podcast.
That's right.
Hannah,
I just feel
can't
like-
believe you let that unprofessional voice message on this respectable professional podcast.
Anyway, you can...
I have the link to this podcast in my LinkedIn profile, Hannah.
Anyway, you can find us on Twitter at 2BroadPod. You can find us on Instagram at Way2Broad and TikTok at Way2Broad. You can email us at way2broad@gmail.com. And if you missed any of that, you can find all of our contact information and episode information at way2broad.com or way2bod.com or nameyourselfjame.com or nameyourselfjameegan.com or jameegan.com for anything you want. earnben.com
Apple Plus.
for anything you need. maxfun.org for a cute dog on a boat. friendsofthechaos.bandcamp.com for lots of great music, including our intro and outro music. Thank you for that, Friends of the Chaos. We love them. And that's it. Thank you for listening. And see you in maybe another month or maybe sooner. Let's just say see you in a month and we'll surprise you.
Set the expectations under promise, over deliver, baby.
Yeah, maybe we'll be surprised and delighted, but that's for us to know, no one to know really, and us all to find out together. So the podcast
Because we're
candle,
professionals.
yeah, the podcast candle is now extinguished.
Goodbye.
I feel like they said Apple Plus and not Apple.
Man, I've had
It's way too broad. I'm trying to